Thank you for tuning in to the Legacy Business Show. Welcome to this special segment focusing on innovators and business side of sports, where we dive into one of Belize's most thrilling events, the La Ruta Maya Belize River Challenge. Since its inception in 1995, the La Ruta Maya race has captivated participants and spectators alike, showcasing not only the beauty of the Belize River, but also the spirit of competition and community. The race has spurred entrepreneurial endeavors, creating markets for canoe construction, local cuisine, and more. With international participation adding to its allure, the La Ruta Maya has evolved into a platform not just for sports, but also for cultural exchange and economic opportunity. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Roberto Harrison, a key figure in this iconic event, who comes from a family deeply rooted in the organization of this prestigious race, which has become a hallmark of Belizean culture and athleticism. Welcome, Mr. Harrison.
Welcome, thank you.
So, Mr. Harrison, could you share with us your journey and involvement in the La Ruta Maya Belize River Challenge and tell us how your passion for this sports has evolved?
Well, back in 1995, 96, thereabouts, the idea came about trying to fill in that gap for the Baron Bliss weekend holiday. We used to have little canoe races here and there in San Ignacio, and that died, and then we thought that we had to replace it. And hence the idea came about in thinking, what else can we do? And we coined on several options. And the only option that we saw as a feasible one was doing a canoe race from San Ignacio to Belize City. Basically, we didn't know anything much, but that we wanted to do it starting in San Ignacio, ending in Belize City. It took us about 45 days to plan that first year event. And we got into the full mood of it. We had quite a bit of volunteers that wanted to join the effort then. And we took off under the Hawkswood Bridge in that first year. And again, we didn't know what we were facing, but we learned quite a bit from the four stages of the race. The race, as I said, starts under the Hawkswood Bridge. It ends at Banana Bank, and it moves from Banana Bank to then Bermudan Landing. And from Bermudan Landing, it went to Barrel Boom, and then into the city. As I recall, then it took about 20 to 22 hours to conclude the entire 4-day of the race.
Okay, so that's a very interesting evolution for this iconic sport. But Mr. Harrison, understanding the financial landscape is very crucial for any event. So can you provide us with any insights into the primary costs involved with organizing the La Ruta Maya sport?
Back then, again, we didn't realize what the cost would have been, and I recall the first 2 or 3 years we had sponsorship for almost all of the activities that tie into the race. We provided 3 meals for the paddlers. We provided water. We provided milk. We provided all of the necessary ingredients that go towards a successful race. Thereafter, we realized that it took more than what we were doing, and hence we needed to involve more corporate financing, and we had to target the corporate Belize to be able to finance food, for example, the timekeeping of the event, the safety and rescue, which becomes a very important factor for us, maintaining the safety of paddlers on the river becomes a very important activity for us, because the hardest part, well, the 4 days are very grueling, The first day in particular is perhaps the more gruesome one because of the rapids and the low river between San Ignacio and Banana Bank. So it takes quite a bit of financing to be able to meet all of your activities, to meet all of the demands that the paddlers come with. And we have managed to have had several large sponsorships. For example, we at one point we went to the Pelican Bear to sponsor. They did a complete sponsorship of the event for a couple of years. We have now gone to RSV Limited that now manages the race, the 4-day race.
Okay, so you have mentioned your sponsors, but how do you balance between fulfilling the financial needs of the race and meeting expectations of your sponsors?
That's very an interesting arrangements we have had because again, as a ballpark figure to run this race, you would perhaps need close to perhaps $100,000 for the 4 days, and that again spreads out among the different activities, trying to again have the best timekeeping possible, trying to provide the necessary food and rehydration for the paddlers, again maintaining their safety on the river. So we have tried to liaise closely with our sponsors to try and meet those demands and to try to attract more paddlers for that matter. Because again, this is not a cheap sports, if I can use that terminology there. We moved away from aluminum canoes in the first couple of years to now having the race has grown to the point where the paddlers are now using high technology Kevlar type built canoes, lighter canoes. Like I said, we moved from 22 hours to now down to 15 hours in completing the 4-day race. So sponsorship becomes a very crucial aspect on the success of how this race has maintained itself as it is.
Okay, thank you. So let's talk participation fees. I know you just spoke about sponsors, but participation fees, they often influence a team's decision to join any event. Could you elaborate on any of the factors that determine the entry fees for the teams in the La Ruta Maya Challenge?
We have tried to maintain our fees down to the basics. We started at 200 when we just started the race, where we upped that to 300 now per canoe, which consists of 3 paddlers. And we have tried to maintain it as low as 300 so that we are be able to attract more paddlers and have greater participation from the public at large. Particularly, we also introduced some other categories to the race. For example, the family category that does only 2 days, that was done so that we can attract new paddlers that will try the race in the first 2 years and then decide to then go into the 4-day event. So the fees are very low, basic. It provides for, like I said, 1 meal for the team, water and other provisions that we provide to the paddlers during the 4 days.
Okay. And you mentioned attracting participants by and large, but for teams that are participating from afar, traveling expenses, they can be quite substantial. So are there any specific kind of initiatives or support system in place to help alleviate the financial burdens or travel expenses for those particular participants coming from afar?
Not from a financial standpoint, but when they come in contact with us, we try to align them with who would have canoes to rent, the hotels that they can stay, and things of that nature. Basically, we wouldn't have that capacity to provide anything further than advise and preparing for what the race is all about. And we do that both for national and international paddlers. In the past, we have had paddlers from Taiwan, from Japan. When BADSUP was in full members here, at least we had 10 to 15 teams from BADSUP. So we have had a good international participation, but again, we rely on the locals to be able to participate as well.
Okay, thank you. So the economic impact of the race, it extends beyond the event itself. It benefits local businesses and communities. Can you share any insights into how the La Ruta Maya contributes to the local economy?
I think it does contribute tremendously. First of all, as I mentioned earlier, canoes are being built to suit the conditions of the river, to meet the growing interest in wanting to paddle the 4 days. Lighter canoes, compared to the first years, you rented an aluminum canoe for perhaps $100, $200 for the weekend. Today, the faster paddlers, the paddlers that are being competitive, a canoe can cost up to 10,000 Belize dollars for one single canoe. And we have created a unique culinary opportunities for the villages that meets us along the course of the race, opportunities for paraphernalia, opportunities for just creating any business opportunity that is there. People can and are benefiting from it.
Okay. So, Mr. Harrison, looking ahead, what strategies or initiatives are being considered to enhance the financial sustainability of the La Ruta Maya Challenge while keeping it accessible and inclusive for teams of all backgrounds?
One of the main strategies is how do we grow the race going forward, and at the highest team participation teams participation we had was around 2010, if I recall, where we had 105 teams competing then. We have now averaged down to about 60, 65 teams in any 1 year now. So our strategy is how do we go back to the 100 teams? So we're looking at increased participation from the family category. We are looking at increased participation from tertiary institution, because again that forms kind of the bulk of where we see the opportunities. The competition between the males and females, I think, has been maintained, but the replacement of the males and female teams, who are the faster teams, are a part of our strategy to grow back the race to at least 100 teams. From our international standpoint, likewise, we are dialoguing with international organizations out of the US, out of Panama in certain ways, so that we can see how we can bring those paddlers to compete along with our paddlers in this event. We have, I think, the La Ruta Maya has been able to set the platform for what becomes participation at the Olympic level. So we are quite proud of that feat, where as an organization we started canoeing at a competitive level, and hence now we are looking, and we have won international races. Our paddlers have won international races in Texas, in Panama, and other parts of the world.
excellent conversation, Mr. Harrison, but we are out of time for today, but thank you so much for a great conversation. And we want to wish you many success this year on the Ruta Maya Challenge.
Thank you.
All right. We will be right back.